Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay and choo-choo!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy, yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us.
Yeah.
All aboard the murder train. Let's get away from the station here because we got a lot of crazy story for you here.
A lot of soot in my face.
A lot of wild shit. Before we get to that, very quickly, you definitely want to head to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows. They're coming all over the place.
Yeah.
Chicago, April 12th is our next, or April 12th, August the 12th is our next one. It's not sold out. It's going to be our biggest show ever, Chicago. So come and fill it up and make that happen. We cannot wait. Get your tickets for everything else. D.C., Charlotte, Atlanta, Dallas, Philly. It's all there. Get your tickets for that. Chicago first, and most importantly, get your tickets to that. Definitely shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get bonus material. You want more episodes? There's tons of them on there. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get the whole back catalog, which is a couple hundred episodes of bonus stuff. And you're going to get 2 new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get access to it all. What we're going to give you this week is, for Crime and Sports, even if you don't like sports, this is a fun story. Disco Demolition Night. 1979, the White Sox thought it would be a good idea to blow up records and 8-tracks in the middle of the field between doubleheaders. Surprise, riots and fires happened instead. So there you go. And then for small town murder, one of the weirdest stories ever, Sherry Papini, the woman the blonde California lady who faked her own kidnapping. Why? We still don't know. But the way
She could help.
her story, and what actually was the truth, and the interrogation while her husband's sitting right next to her is just priceless. So we'll tell you all about that. That is patreon.com/crime and sports, and you get a shout out at the end of the main show. Jimmy will mispronounce your name, well, he'd love to get it correct. Sure. That said, where are you at right now, everybody?
Yeah, what's in your hand?
What you doing? What you doing, huh?
Standing?
What are you doing? Peeling an orange? Is that what you're doing? Just standing around peeling an orange?
Careful.
Just do it. It's hard to do, but you got it started. I'm very proud of you. Even though you got it started and you feel ownership of this orange, I'd like you to turn to the person next to you, throw it directly into their chest so it explodes in orangey, pulpy goodness. Raise your arms to the sky and shout, "Shut up and give me murder."
Murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy. What do you say, everybody?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? Let's go. We're going all the way to South Dakota this time. Hey, now. South Dakota, where we don't go very often.
No.
I have to say, it's been a while.
Is that Rushmore?
That is South Dakota, I believe.
Yeah.
North Dakota has not much of anything.
No.
So,
almost Canada is what it has.
yeah, they have snow and plains. This is in western South Dakota, all the way in the western side. It's only 20 minutes outside Deadwood.
Oh.
And there is a Deadwood TV show connection, too, in this
Is
show.
that right?
Interesting,
Awesome.
yeah. It's 5 hours and 15 minutes to Aberdeen, South Dakota, which is our last South Dakota episode. The Great Kidnapping Caper was the name of that one. I remember that one, too. That was it was one of your white knuckle ones where you're like, what's going to happen? This is in Lawrence County, area code 605. The population here is 901 people.
Nobody.
And this is up about 200 people since the year 2020. So in the last 3 years, it has gone up a lot. That's a substantial amount for this place. You know, it was only 700 people, 200 show up. Fuck, that's a lot.
That's a third more. 900 people is barely enough to have a murder.
That's what I mean. You'd think everyone would know what happened.
Yeah.
They're all just standing around.
We all saw it.
Doing something. Median household income here is about $56,250, which is right around the national average. Yeah. And median home cost here also right around the national average, $303,800. So
doing all right.
Your average place, except in the middle of goddamn nowhere. It was platted in 1888, which is when Deadwood was blowing up and all that. That's during the TV show era. And this happened when the Chicago and Northwestern Railway was extended to this point. They built towns along it. This town took its name. It is Whitewood, South Dakota. I don't think I even said that yet. Whitewood, South Dakota. Okay. Remind me of that. Whitewood, South Dakota.
Where's it at?
Western South Dakota.
Okay. Yeah.
It took its name from the Whitewood Creek, which makes sense here. It was, like we said, 1888 when people got here. The Pioneer Town Site Company purchased the town site of Whitewood.
Bought it.
So there's a company that's like, if they're going to have these towns pop up, we'll buy the whole town and build a town and then sell it to everybody. So that's what they do. Yeah. They bought the land from William Selby, who was an early settler to the area. People could purchase lots in this town, business lots for $250 to $500. You could come in and start your business, and the town soon filled right up. They had 3 hotels, 2 saloons, a barber shop, a drugstore, a clothing store, sawmill, the whole deal. Seth Bullock, as you might recognize.
Hardware Seth.
Yeah, as you might recognize from the show Deadwood, who's a real guy.
Slinging Dick and the Widow.
Slinging Dick and slinging hardware and Dick. That's what he slings. And justice. Yeah. Hardware, Dick, and justice in the American frontier.
A carryable commode.
That's right. That's the one. He helped to convince these other Fremont, Elkhorn, and Missouri Valley railroads to build a track from Whitewood into Deadwood.
Oh.
And a train would use that line for the first time in 1890. That same year, the railroad also built a track into Belforche and St. Onge? I don't know how you say that. Doesn't matter.
If he was really a hardware guy, he probably wanted that train to get products, right?
To get products, and also it would make the town bigger. I mean, if you have businesses and more people, more shit you're going to sell. That's all there is to it. Now, they built their buildings out of, because Deadwood would catch on fire every 3 days, they built their buildings out of like this sandstone, real sturdy shit there.
How about that?
So they wouldn't burn down. Yeah. And the National Register of Historic Places says by establishing formidable buildings and developing their main commercial street, the people of Whitewood secured their future while other neighboring towns disappeared.
They read The Three Little Pigs. Good for them.
So, and then they're still here. There we go. That's why they're not. It hasn't burned down yet. So it's had its 125th anniversary recently. So good for them. Reviews of this town. Okay, there's a couple of the town and a couple of a restaurant because there's not much of the town. Here's one of the town, 5 stars, small and quaint, quiet, gorgeous scenery, friendly neighbors, quick drive to market, short drive to surrounding towns for further necessities. 5 stars. Okay, here is 5 stars, but it's a very, very mean one. 5 stars, go away.
Oh.
Go away. Don't move here. We like our small town small. Well,
that's one way to keep it
tough
small,
shit.
I guess.
How about that? You can't control where I go. Sorry. But no problem. I won't be coming here.
Yeah, surly neighbors is one way to keep me out.
Yeah, that'll do it. Next up, they have in town, we'll talk about their saloon in town, the Bullwhackers Saloon.
Okay, that is far too close to Ballwhacker.
Sounds like a euphemism for jerking off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a couple of good ones and then a couple of bad ones. We'll read them quickly. Here is a good one here. 5 stars. I wasn't sure what to expect when I parked in front of I hate when they start out like this. Tell me about the food.
Tell me about it, Mary.
When I parked in front of this nondescript building. Actually, this is Marcus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, was I surprised. Open the door and you feel transported to another time and place. Blonde pine tongue and groove, 12-foot walls draw your eyes upward to the original tin ceiling and the various displayed historical guns and other familiar Old West pieces. The beautiful bar and back bar mirrors are just breathtaking. But the real gem I discovered that evening was a feisty little redhead bartender, Erica. She was very attentive, highly mobile, LOL, I don't know what that means, with a knockout smile. I ordered mini tacos because I am a taco-slaying bandito and ended up closing the bar with Erica. She was a hoot. Hope to have more opportunities to make this a favorite place to have interesting conversations.
Yeah, I'm going to come back and try to fuck Erica.
Erica
That's
is...
what he's doing. Yeah.
He's like, I'll leave a review and I'll say your name a bunch and they'll give you a fucking $5 or something.
Hated him.
Yeah, Erica was like, ugh, this guy wouldn't leave me alone all night. Next up, there's a ton of 1-star reviews for the same incident. Okay. It's the same thing. Great. August 16th, 2021. It's the date this happened.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reviews about this. The owner was extremely rude and told Shorty Rossi, do you know who this is? I had to look him up. He is a little person who hosted multiple shows about pit bulls on like the Animal Planet and all that kind of shit. Hosted a show called Pit Boss about pit bulls. Little guy.
That's what Pit Boss is?
That's Pit Boss. Yeah, not about casinos or anything like that.
Or barbecue.
It's pit bulls. Was very rude and told Shorty Rossi and his party they had to leave as Shorty had his service dog with him. He doesn't get around well. It's pretty obvious. He's a little guy.
Yeah, he had a pit bull in there.
This owner needs to be educated on federal statutes as well as the statutes of the state of South Dakota. Shame on this owner.
Oh.
Shame. And then here's one. Okay, not quite as good as it used to be. 3 stars. Burger has lost its juicy goodness, but it was better than lots of Rally's food.
Ew.
So better than fast food.
Yeah.
And then another guy saying, probably the worst ribeye steak I ever had. Okay. So
the food tastes worse when you yell at little people.
When you yell at someone and their dog's being kicked out.
Yeah.
Things to do. Welcome to Bear Country, USA.
Is that what this is?
Come see black bears, elk, cougars, goats, and more. It looks dangerous. It looks like when we did the amusement park bonus episode and we were talking about all the animals walking.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Just like,
my God.
Don't let them bears bite you now. Keep the little ones under tow. All right, keep going. Like
I don't like this.
It's insane. Then there is the Whitewood Extravaganza. which is a room full of what looks like shit from a flea market that they couldn't sell at a flea market. It's not an extravaganza. It's
Bunch
like
of old shit that's not valuable enough to sell.
It's 100 old ladies came together to have a really lousy garage sale, is what it looks like. A lot of like dream catchers and jams and bracelets and shit like that. Also the extravaganza. Also the Whitewood Festival of Trees.
Okay.
They have trees and you come look at them. It's in December.
Here's one.
Here's some pine trees, everybody.
There's a Whitewood.
Oh, look at that. It's going to be at the fire department, so it's going to be wild stuff.
Oh,
there.
And then we're going to burn it all.
And then we'll burn it to the ground, baby.
Holler at me when you stack all those together and have a keg. Then I'll come by.
Then otherwise, you can go fuck yourself. So, that said, let's talk about another kind of fire. Let's talk about a murder.
All right.
It's not a fire that causes it, but it's a crazy fucking story. Okay, these two. Let's talk about a couple of folks here. Mm-hmm. Start out with Gloria Jean Johnson. Mm-hmm. That's her maiden name. She will later on be Gloria Jean Bertzlaff. Burtzlaff. Bertzlaff.
Wow.
Yeah. She is that because she's born 1942, and she becomes Bertzlaff when she marries Larry Dean Bertzlaff, who's born in 1941. I found an article. His parents were together for over 50 years. It was a 50-year celebration for them in the newspaper and shit. So it comes from stability anyway.
My grandparents just celebrated 64 years.
Wow, that's incredible. Holy shit. Congratulations to them. I'm sure they listen to the show every week.
They don't listen, and my grandmother has dementia. Every week would be brand new to her. She'd be like, he does a what?
Jimmie has a show?
Yeah.
Every week Jimmie does a show?
Every week you have to tell my grandma what a podcast is.
And then she'd go, wow, who's Jimmie? After a few weeks, she'd eventually forget you.
She came over for my mom's birthday this weekend and wished my mom happy birthday 3 times with gusto, like it was the first time. It was adorably sad. It was depressing, but she's so sweet.
Maybe she just has extra enthusiasm and nowhere to place it in her old age.
Maybe she's fooling all of us.
That's it. Yeah, she's just maybe it's all an act. She just wants people to leave her the fuck alone.
Happy ass life.
Leave me alone for 5 minutes. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Then she goes, she won't be coming over for fucking at least a month. She'll leave us the fuck alone. She thinks I'm crazy now. So these two, Gloria and Larry, started dating during their senior year at Deadwood High School.
Is that right?
Going to Deadwood High, baby.
Awesome.
That sounds awesome. Cool T-shirts.
Yeah.
They married the September after graduation, so 2 months after they graduated in 1958.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Big old skirt on her. He's got his hair slicked back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They end up
cigarettes in his sleeve.
Oh, in his sleeve, in his mouth, in his ear. All sorts of cigarettes everywhere.
In his greasy ear.
In his greasy ear. They have 3 sons along the way here as they build their life.
Yeah.
My 3 sons, Marshall, Leonard, and Miles are the 3 sons.
Cool names.
Larry works at a Wheeler Lumber Company in Whitewood. That's his. Been there for years and years and years. That's his. That's his joint where he.
Strong man.
Where he works. Yeah, and he's got some problems later on. We'll talk about here. Everybody said he would verbally downgrade himself during the marriage. That's the way it's put. Verbally downgrade. So he would say bad things about himself all the time.
Not necessarily self-deprecating, because that implies jokes, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is like, I'm a piece of shit, but he means it. He's not, not in a comedic way.
There's no bit of tongue-in-cheek at all.
There's no punchline coming.
I'm a fucking monster.
Yeah, and then you're not going to tell me how you jerked off in a funny way and got caught or shit your pants or something like that. You're going to say like something serious, like I took money from my mother and from her account when she needed it, and then now she's stuck in a state home rather than a private one. That would be.
All I did was buy watermelon with it and rape the watermelon.
I just raped them over and over. And I don't know why I bought them all at once like that, because they're going to go bad at the same time. I can't rape a truck full of watermelons all in one day. You know what I'm saying?
A man's got limits.
Should have spread it out a little bit and bought a watermelon every other day, maybe, I think.
Now I'm raping spoilt watermelons.
It's not good. So Larry did that. Gloria here also said that he would slap and poke her a lot.
Huh.
Over
like
the
flirty,
years.
Or like
poke at her and call her names.
Oh.
Yeah. not slap her on the ass and be like, "What's happening, sweet stuff?" He would be like, slap her and poke her and call her a bitch and things like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. Also, she said he abused her sexually. She said she was. No, none of it's good here. She said she was intimidated by his size and his loud voice. So he was a big, booming-voiced guy. He liked to drink, too, so he would get drunk and be a loud, big, booming-voiced drunk guy. So she says, and she told other people, that he told her, quote, "Divorce never, murder maybe."
Oh, he's
divorce, which will definitely be the title of this show.
Divorce never, murder maybe.
Murder maybe. So, 1981, Larry has diagnosed with bladder cancer.
Oh, shit.
When he's 40 here. So he has a successful surgery for his bladder cancer. And somehow through this, he came into some money at some point. I don't know how he came into money, but he paid Gloria's way through 4 years of college. Okay. He said so she could get a job if he died, because they have kids. Yeah. And shit like that. And plus, he didn't want her to be, ass out and alone and not have anything. So
he's a piece of shit, but he's got a heart.
He said, "Yeah, I want you to be able to do something with yourself if I die."
He's got a bladder, but he's got a heart.
He's got piss all over the front of his pants, but I don't know what bladder cancer even does, but it sounds terrible. It sounds really bad. So she graduated in 85 from college here. She's 43 years old or something like that. She took a job at Wheeler Lumber Company.
Really?
With her husband there. Larry also worked there and was opposed to her working there. But it was a job she could get because she knew everybody there from all the company parties and all that kind of thing. So it was an easy...
There's 700 people here. Where the fuck else am I going to work?
It's an easy job to get. It's not like she has a whole city's worth of jobs to choose from.
It's probably the best paying job here.
And they'll treat her right because they like her husband. Right. Now, Larry, when he's not working or being home here, he served on the board of the American Cancer Society's Lawrence County unit and spoke to the group as a cured, cancer patient in remission here. Larry and Gloria used to ride horseback in the evenings, and the family would do that together, and they'd all ride horses together. Come on, everyone, we're going out horseback riding.
Get your horse, let's go.
You know how we used to do when we were kids. How your mom and dad would be like, "Come on, mount up, kids," and then we'd all just go for a night stroll. Yeah, remember that, Jimmy? Don't you? I think every kid would love to have that. Come on, kids, we're going on the horses. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't care where you're growing up. That sounds awesome. But I never had that, actually, growing up. No.
We rode horses, but we didn't have them at the house where we could just go, down the street.
Go for an evening stroll. You'd
they
have
were
to
in
go
another
to
state.
Yeah, you'd have to go there and pay money, and then somebody would let you ride them for an hour and then kick you out. You'd ride some depressed horse for an hour. These are their actual horses.
Something whose spirit was broken long ago.
Absolutely. So they would also help him with different projects for the Cancer Society. They did a fundraiser trail ride where the whole family participated in helping out, promoting it and everything like that.
This shit brought the family together.
Yeah, so they seem like they're doing just fine here. I mean, just having a great old time together through the 80s. They've been together for 20-something years. And Gloria at the lumber company, though, within a year of her starting at the lumber company, she also starts an affair with a coworker.
Oh, Gloria.
Which is not great in terms of your husband works there too. So
yeah, that's really rubbing his face in it.
Yeah, it's a coworker whose entire family was friendly with their family too. It was one of those.
Oh, God damn it.
So this is rough.
She thinks she's going to get away with this?
Well, she does for about 4.5 years.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it goes on a long time. All through the late 80s, from 86 through 91 here. Late 86 through 91, this affair is going on. With the guy.
Yeah.
There's 700 people in the town.
Right.
The guy works with. How the fuck do you hide that?
Yeah. And how do you do that so calculatedly and organize it so well that you don't get pregnant, too? Because, granted,
you got to really.
Obviously, there's ways. But.
She's also
4.5 years.
She's also 45 years old.
Yeah,
so, well, that's 45. You can get pregnant.
Yeah.
So, but still, it's that might help.
It's dicey.
It's less likely at that point. So,
right.
It's all that shit. But I mean, no one in the small town saw and told them, and I saw them at the diner playing footsie and, fingery and everything else, and no one said that. So
Nothing
at all. So late 1990, by the way, she leaves the lumber company in the spring of 1990. She no longer works there anymore, but she's still fucking the guy.
Yeah.
So she leaves the company, but not the lumber, if you know what I mean. So
it takes the severance package.
She takes the lumber with her, yeah. Taking one of these with me, if you know what I'm talking about.
Sometimes you steal a little bit from the office on your way out.
So late 1990, Larry has colon problems now.
No.
She's attacking his every horrible thing you don't want to have problems
every way
in your bladder,
you get
your
waste
colon.
out. Yeah.
He has to have 2 different rounds of colon surgery, and after that, he has to wear a bag, which obviously nobody wants to.
Humility.
Nobody wants to wear a fucking bag. Obviously, that just sucks. Nobody wants that.
No,
nobody's like, this is great.
Yeah,
I love having a bag of my
dignity.
shit.
My God,
it's just you feel terrible here, and it would collect all of his wastes. And a friend of his, Mick Roberts. He said the bag was very depressing for Larry. Yeah. He said one time Larry joined a poker game, and Larry thought one of the players was cheating and flew into a rage. What year does he think it is, by the way? Right. He's out by Deadwood. He's flying into a rage over a poker cheat. He crawfished. Like, you fucking break, man.
I'm going to shoot you and say that you killed my brother in Dodge City.
My brother. Yeah, you killed my brother in Dodge City. I'll get you back. We're mixing, we're blending Tombstone and Deadwood together now. I love it. Why not? Let's make them the same thing. So, it's all same around the same time. So, I guess he flew into a rage and would freak out. His friend said Larry was an odd kind of character.
Yeah.
That's a very Western way of putting it. An odd kind of character. He was the boss. He had quite a temper.
Yep.
This friend said he tried to console Larry about wearing this bag, saying that your life will go on and, whatever. And Larry said, no, my life's over. This is bullshit. Might as well be dead. And his friend said, quote, I came home and told the wife, I think that damn fool Larry's going to kill himself. That's what he said. So that's what he was thinking. That's how depressed he was, though. He was that low about it. So late January 1991, Gloria returns home from bowling later than usual.
Yeah.
So after 4.5 years, this is his big warning. Hey, she's usually home earlier from bowling. So Larry questions her as to what you were doing, really. I know you weren't bowling. The alley done closed. You know what I mean? So she confesses that she's been having an affair. She was out with this guy. Not only that, she's been fucking this guy for almost 5 years.
She's tired of hiding it.
You have to be for 40. How do you hide that for so long? It's a guy named Roger Schoon, SC. It's school with an N instead of an L.
Oh,
Schoon. Roger Schoon.
Gross.
Hi, Roger Schoon.
I'm gonna be Mrs. Gloria Schoon.
I'm gonna be Gloria Schoon. It's better than, I don't know. Is it as bad as Bert's laugh? I'm not sure. So either way, it's not a good option. Not a lot of good name options for old Gloria here.
Tough going.
So she says, yes, I've been fucking Roger from down at the lumber yard, and you know how that goes, and he's been giving me all sorts of wood and blah, blah, blah. So she said, though, that she didn't leave. Larry didn't leave. They just kind of stayed static.
Yeah. She
said from that time on, though, for the next couple months, Larry would just kept railing on about the affair. Oh, really? Why? Yes, you would.
A man affected by 2 types of cancer, and you're cheating on him now? Why would he possibly be upset?
He kept bringing it up, she said. Just kept bringing it up. Yes, that's what happens when you cheat on someone for 5 years. They might get upset about it and bring it up once in a while.
A man shy of 50 who's already had now 2 bouts of cancer.
Yeah, 2 bouts of cancer and feels
terrible.
Who carries a bag. But they agreed to try to work out their problems and stay together. Okay. They sought marriage counseling for a little bit here. Now, she told him on a day in January, 3 months and 2 days later. So exactly, okay? 10:30 p.m., she calls the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department and said, "Hi, Gloria here. I just shot Larry.
Yeah.
Y'all might want to come by and take a peek at that." So deputies Charles and Russell report to the scene, and she's standing outside with her clothes soaking wet.
Wet?
Head to toe soaking wet.
It's not raining.
Not raining. And in early April in South Dakota, it's chilly at 10:30 at night to be out there in soaking wet clothes. So that's weird. When they arrived there, this is Deputy Sheriff Charles, she repeatedly said, quote, "I killed my husband. I can't believe it. I killed my husband."
Oh, Jesus.
All right. So not a lot of mystery here as to who killed who here. So, but this is crazy. We find out how that all went down here. They walk into the house. They find Larry in the living room. He's lying like face down by the couch, kind of like with his knees in a little bit over there. Huge gaping hole in his chest.
Oh, boy.
They're like, "Oh, boy, may we inquire as to what may have occurred here in your living room? Anything here?" Now, she said that Larry, ever since the affair thing came out, he's been particularly drunk and abusive lately.
Okay.
Especially that night. And we will later find out that his blood alcohol content this night is 0.358.
Atta boy.
Which is, you could be really drunk, you could be dead, you could fucking pass out. Like that's danger zone territory.
Yeah,
I think John Bonham had that in his system when he fucking died. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a man who knows what he's doing.
Wow. And he's still ambulatory and shit, like, with that. You'd have to inject me with that. First of all, I'd be well passed out before I got to that, but holy shit. I guess they had returned from a local bar. The two of them went out together, Larry and Gloria, to a local bar. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
And when they got back, he dragged her into the family hot tub fully clothed.
Oh.
And shoved her under the water several times, holding her there for a minute.
At 0.35, he's doing that?
At 0.358, he's fully, So that's her story. When doing so, he would pull her up and say, "Tell me that you love me." And then put her back down and pull her up and say, "Do you still love me?" And she said he then pulled her out of the tub, threw her on the floor, and kicked her. So she's soaking wet, dripping, kicked her and said, quote, "You think I'm going to kill you like this, don't you? I'm going to tell you right now it's not going to be this easy."
Oh.
So that's a threat and also saying I'm not going to kill you right now at the same time.
Right.
If I kill you, it'll be much worse than this. This
is a cakewalk.
This is just some, run-of-the-mill domestic violence here. This is not basic stuff he's saying. Yeah. So he leaves the room, and he leaves her there.
Yeah.
She's laying there dripping. He leaves the room. She then goes downstairs and grabs a shotgun. Okay. She finds him sitting on the couch with a drink in one hand, in a glass, drink in one hand, drinking booze, and watching television. He's got the remote in one hand, glass in the other. She rolls up in the living room, points the shotgun at him, and says, quote, "Larry, I'm going to kill you." Which is really, it's honest.
There it is.
It's very straight and to the point.
Yeah.
No bullshit. "Larry, you're a dead motherfucker, and I'm the guy to do it, or I'm the chick to do it here." So, "Larry, I'm going to kill you." You know what his response was? This is fucking amazing.
Go on, do it.
Lifted his glass up as a toast, which is the greatest fucking response to a death threat I've ever heard in my life. "Larry, I don't know what you did. I don't know what. Hats off to you for that. That is the most incredible." He just
You're
lifted
Daisy
it up.
if you do.
Salute. Go ahead. He just literally lifted his glass to her.
Daisy at all.
Which is fucking incredible.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Here you go.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, darling. It's going to be fine.
I'll drink to that.
I'm going to be okay. I think I have to pee. So
Man raised
his glass as a toast
to a threat of impending death.
Not only with a threat of it, a shotgun fucking pointed at him from 6 feet away.
I will appreciate it.
There you go. Put me out of my misery, please.
I can't piss or shit. I don't care.
What do I owe this favor?
What did I do for you?
Yep. Salute. So then...
Incredible.
If you're her, what do you almost have to start laughing at that point, right?
How do you not?
I would crack up laughing.
How do you not go, well, you just saved your own life?
If he abused me, I guess maybe not. I guess I could stay in a rage through that if he had just beat me up and tried to drown me and waterboarded me in the hot tub for a while. But you almost have to just admire the gusto here. So
it's impressive.
Her response is a bit different. She fires the shotgun at him from 4 feet away.
Oh, man.
Right into his chest, 4 feet. Which, as you can imagine, leaves a huge, giant, gaping fucking monster wound.
Oh, my.
Intense. So he was completely unarmed, drink in one hand, remote in the other, and sitting, for Christ's sake. That's when she went outside, telephoned the sheriff, and then went outside and waited for them to come to the house, soaking wet. So they get there, and single gunshot wound to the chest.
Yep.
They said it was not point blank, but within the range of it, pretty goddamn close for a shotgun. They said that there was, when they do the autopsy, there's medical problems, but none of them were contributing factors to the death. It's not like it made his colon shut down and he died. He had it
was already gone.
Fucking hole in his lungs, heart, liver, and every other organ he had in there. So they sit her down. They're like, oh boy. What happened here, darling?
Yeah.
Wow, this is pretty violent. This is the day. This is shortly afterwards. It's that day. And they said, what happened? Did he threaten you that night? Yeah. And she said, I don't remember if he threatened me or not. They said, okay.
Better explanation, please.
That would be sure helpful if we had some reason. Yeah, explanation. Not even excuse. Explanation. Right. Help us help you here. She told one of her sons in the meantime, before this interview, that her husband had tried to drown her in the hot tub and had beaten and kicked her that night, according to the interview there. She said the day she killed him, he threw things, he hit her, he tried to drown her, he made irrational statements, he kicked and slapped her, broke a necklace he had given her, and picked the cat up and threw it against the wall.
Okay.
Jesus. Jesus. I mean, it's like, if you want to make an evil villain out of it, it's like, and then they're like, okay, and they're not shocked yet. And then he picked the cat up and right against the wall. So this is all before they went out for drinks. Literally. This all happened, besides the hot tub thing, before they went out for drinks. I guess when someone's, spiking cats into the wall, that's a sign they might need a drink, right? Maybe you need a drink, sir. Yeah. It's horrifying. It's terrible.
Horrifying. But
it's a real.
It's
one of those.
Funny.
It's terrible. If it was in a movie, it's like, because you're picturing Reno 911 when they drop the cat down, it goes into the fucking air conditioning and blood flies up. You see, that's hilarious. Not a real cat. That's why.
It's not real. Nobody's hurt.
It's not a real cat. The cat's fine. It's all good. This is an actual cat that got spiked against the wall. So it's not funny, but that is, for some reason, a funny noise.
It paints a picture.
It does. So after all this happened, they went to the local diner for drinks. And who goes to the diner to get drunk, by the way? That's a strange thing.
That's a very degenerate move.
It is. And all the diners have full bars. And whenever you're in it, you're like, who's going to get us fucking scotch and soda at the diner? It's just weird.
Hammered with a plate of pot roast.
Yeah. I mean, there's like, I guess if it's by a hotel or something, that makes sense. Somebody's going to go back and get shit-faced. But I don't want some
but if it's just
blue plate
diner,
special.
Yeah, a diner on the turnpike. Who's drinking fucking
like
Jack
the one
Evans?
we go to here. Yeah, right. Full fucking bar. Full bar. Any drinks you want, boy. Fucking dry martini,
gross.
No problem. And would you like that with your pancakes or before the pancakes? When do you want the Grey Goose martini? So after they got home, he pulled her into the hot tub, and she said the next thing she remembered was she was seeing his blood.
Oh, boy.
And she was thinking, quote, I can't believe I shot him. I don't know how this happened. He's laying on the floor. I thought, I need help. I need help. I need help.
Yeah.
So it came upon her pretty quickly here. So she is later on going to try and say, by the way, that this interview is not admissible in court. She's going to try to fight that because she's going to say that she didn't knowingly and voluntarily waive her Miranda rights, even though she waived her Miranda rights. Okay. So they said that it's unreliable also. Also, she made mistakes. First, even she misidentified the type of shotgun that was used.
Oh.
Then she said she wasn't dressed when she was pulled into the hot tub, even though when they showed up, her clothes were completely soaked. Yeah. Which is, if you went through some tragic shit, that's something you might not remember, or I don't know. We'll get into by the way, the evidence with the soaked clothes here soon, because there's a real easy way to tell whether it was before or after.
How's that?
In my mind, but we'll talk about it. So also, during this interview, the presence of the county sheriff, Chuck Crotty, who's a lifelong friend of the couple and a former neighbor, who's, of course, a sheriff investigating the murder and sitting during the interrogation, which is very, very normal. She will say that it amounted to subtle police coercion to have a friend of hers there.
Yeah, you can't be conflict of interest, fella.
It seems a little wrong. So, first of all, was he fucking abusive or not? Let's get to the bottom of that. Let's get to, because that really, a lot of that, because if what she's saying is true, then a lot of this builds up to this. If what she's saying is not true, she looks like a person who's got a husband who's kind of a drag and some guy she's been fucking on the side for 4.5 years and wants to get rid of her husband to move on to that. That's what it looks like if he's not abusive. So that's very important and kind of what the whole case hinders on. So despite, this is from all three of his sons and their friends and everybody else, they said, yes, he drinks, and he is a strict disciplinarian as a parent. You will clean your room, you will do this shit. But all three sons said that he never hit anybody. He's a teddy bear. The kids, the mom, nobody. Yeah. The kids know if abuse is going on in the house. That's the thing. Ask the kids. They know.
Right.
You think they don't know? You think they're in their room? They're fucking, they hear it.
Even if they're in their room, there is a noise that happens in domestic violence that you will never hear from a woman's mouth ever.
It's not even a noise. There's a static in the air.
Sure.
You can feel it like a thunderstorm. It's that fucking much to where kids know it. Their hair's standing up.
And if it's just a psychological thing, you feel that for sure.
Yeah.
But the sound of domestic violence, you cannot mistake.
No,
you can't mistake it.
It's different. One of the kids testified that at one point in time, his mother had a bruise of unknown origin that he can remember. His entire life, he can remember his mom having a bruise once. So that's all they have as far as...
But they also drink. And how many times have you woke up from drinking and you've got a random bruise? You have no fucking idea where it came from.
How did my kneecap get all scratched up?
Why do I have water on my knee?
Fuck, how did that... Why are my clothes soaking wet? So... The sons, Mild and Leonard, told the county deputy sheriff Jim Charles in separate interviews that their father was not a mean man at all. He was strict but not mean. He was very nice, and that they had never known him to assault their mother or anybody else. Ever, including them. They also said their father had been depressed and in pain from extensive surgery, and that their mother had been put under a lot of pressure because she has to care for him. And care for him at the same time. They said, strict disciplinarian, never saw any violence. They said, quote, I think he probably, they're talking about was he abusive at all? And Leonard said this later on, I think he probably was to all of us, especially when we were younger, verbally. He yelled at us when we were kids. Right. He said that she is saying that, he tried to drown me at this point in time. So the son said he believes that might have happened because he says, quote, you could tell just by the house. We had one door split all the way up the middle, a solid wood door. So I don't know how that corresponds to that, but there was obviously some kind of something that went on that night.
Something hit that door.
Yes. So she's going to say, it's battered woman syndrome, and it just built up, and, that's what happened here. So she said that Larry threatened to kill her, also her lover at the same time, and also his wife and children as well, because he's married with kids also.
Okay. The man's got a bag.
Yeah, he's going to kill everybody. She said the attacks have become increased since he's had surgery, has a bag, and found out his wife was fucking the guy at work for 4.5 years. Now, the bruises she says she has that night from the abuse. She was held down and kicked, held in a hot tub. She should have some marks on her from this. Yeah. So on the day after the killing here, she was examined by her doctor, and a small bruise was found on her chest and upper arm and a large bruise on her hip, according to her doctors. Okay? Now, her defense attorney, John Hughes, he said, I'm tired of this shit. You know what? Fuck you, Steve Martin. John Candy, eat my ass.
This young Emilio Estevez, pain in the ass.
Bullshit. God damn it. Tired of Judd Nelson. I'm going here. So the lawyer here, John Hughes, and also Mike Strain, those are the lawyers, they've been hired here. They said that their client has been bruised during the incident and needed to be examined by a doctor, and they did that. Now, when she's examined by the doctor the state puts her up for, they say the evidence we have indicates there weren't any bruises.
Not a bruise on her.
So the same day, apparently, it seems like she went to two different doctors, and one didn't see any bruises and one saw a couple of bruises. So now their friends, when they heard about this, they thought it was either suicide or a mercy killing when they found out he was dead.
Wow.
Yeah. One woman said, my first thought on hearing about the shooting was he got depressed. Then I thought, no, Gloria wouldn't do that no matter how depressed he got. He got depressed and said, put me out of my misery.
Right. And she would never do it.
So another witness, this was a woman who was engaged, Monica Jorgensen, was engaged to the middle son, Leonard, in the 80s. So she's been around the family, and she has no horse in the race at this point. So they talked to her, And she said that there was never any indication that Larry was abusing his wife. She said, I'm not saying he was not domineering. He was, but he wasn't abusive. I was on a very friendly basis with Larry, and the thing that kills me is how she's gotten those boys to believe he was abusive. They worshipped him.
Yeah.
So she was saying,
yeah.
Now they're like,
oh, cowboy, and they're like, oh, my dad beat my mom.
Yeah, now, but she's saying back then they never said that, and they knew that never happened. Now, fellow employees, since they worked together, they would have a really good insight here. They said they never saw any bruises ever on Gloria. The plant manager, Dean Herman, said he never saw Larry hit his wife or yell at her. Well, I would hope he wouldn't do it at work. Jesus Christ. Have some decorum, domestic violence people. Are you kidding me?
We see husbands beat the shit out of their wives in the break room. Not Larry.
All the time. I mean, Larry, though, I'll tell you what. Normally it's right out there on the wood cutting floor. They get pissed off, threaten to put their wife through a bandsaw. But this time, Larry, not even here, never beats her. He said, or even yell at her, though, he said. Never saw him angry with her at work. He said the day that Larry was shot, he appeared to be in a good mood and was fine.
Well, the man had .35.
He was fine then. Yeah.
He was
different. He was
real good mood.
He was in a different mood from work till then, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. A neighbor named Dwayne Reddick said that Larry had called him at supper time that night, the night of the shooting, to ask permission to hunt on his land. You mind if I come hunting on your land there?
Yeah.
And this is what this guy says. This is Dwayne Reddick. Quote, he sounded plumb fine.
.35.
He sounded...
time.
Well, this is 4 hours before he's killed, though. So he could have put a whole... This is before they go to the diner to tie one on. They really got drinking at the diner, and then he came home and kept drinking. So he sounded... He's a guy that could be fucking .20 and still sound fine, probably, though. If he can even raise his glass when he's got 358 in his system. He sounded plumb fine, and everything sounded fine when I talked to him about 6:30 or 6:45. Plumb fine.
At almost 7 o'clock at night.
Yep. He said he knew Larry as a good neighbor, but said he never even met Gloria. And he said he didn't have a clue as to what transpired between the phone call and the shooting. He said, I don't know what could have happened between then and then.
They were neighbors, and he never even met Gloria?
Never met her. Isn't that weird?
She's out all the time with that Roger.
I guess they used to hook up during the day a lot, like on lunch break time, and then they would hook up at night. And they'd have a bowling night where she'd go fuck him. And so 2 guys who worked for Larry in the bridge building at the Wheeler Lumber Company in Whitewood called him their favorite boss and said he'll be hard to replace. This is Bill Cooper and Dwight Griffey. They said they also had a high opinion of Gloria, who, according to Cooper, worked in the accounting department at Wheeler Lumber. And friends of the couple said that although rumors had floated around about the incident, they're reluctant to believe anything until the facts come out in court. They don't know what's going on. And one friend said it might not be fair. This is one of the guys from work. It might not be fair to Gloria to start believing the rumors. Even if she did kill Larry, I couldn't hold it against her. It's not up to us to judge.
That's a man. It's like, I don't know. She fucks a lot of people. Maybe I can get a piece.
Or that's a guy with really awful friends. You know what? So I can't judge. Bud Hudson, who's co-owner of the Whitewood Bar, said, I still can't believe it. I thought they were a great couple. As far as I know, no fights, no nothing. Something went wrong, but I don't know what it was. I always thought they were happily married.
Mm-hmm.
So the charges here, they charge her dually with murder and manslaughter.
Okay.
Murder carries a mandatory life imprisonment.
Yeah.
Manslaughter would be punishable from anything from probation to life in prison.
Oh, my.
It's a big old deal here, or a $25,000 fine, or both, or whatever. The judge can pretty much do whatever he wants with manslaughter.
That's a window.
But mandatory life for murder. Mm-hmm. So psychologists here are going to be important. They get a clinical psychologist who interviewed her 5 days after the shooting and then conducted 25 therapy sessions with her.
Okay.
During this, he's trying to find all the abuse. During all these sessions, she reported just 2 physical attacks in 32 years by her husband.
Okay.
Okay. So 2 in 32 years.
And she's using that as justification for shotgunning a man in his seat.
Yeah. Not even like my life was in imminent danger, because that's self-defense. It's battered woman's, which means that you've, built it up over time.
Right.
So they were like, that's not great for her. And that's her own therapist. I mean, that's the therapist. So her defense here, they said that this, before it goes to court, her lawyer, Mike Strain, comes out publicly and says, this case involves issues of mercy killing, self-defense, family violence, and alcohol.
Okay.
Okay. The county attorney said that none of those are a factor, is what he said. None of that's a fact. Maybe alcohol. Outside of that, no. They said that the county attorney said that he felt like he was less of a man since the whole thing. His drinking was increasing, and he wished his life to end. He arranged for Gloria to do it for him. Not a day goes by, this is her attorney, not a day goes by that Gloria doesn't feel remorse.
Okay.
He's saying that he wanted her to do this, and he was trying to force her into it.
Mm-hmm. He beat her into submission to do it.
Yeah. So finally, she got the shotgun, because I was been waiting for her to get it for so long.
Cheers. It's about time.
She never gets it. I put it on the kitchen table and everything. So
if you do it now, I don't have to change this bag.
Come on. So, come on already. So the state's attorney says that the slaying was not a mercy killing, not self-defense. And they said that he was asked by the reporters, is there a history of family violence? And he said, none that was ever reported.
Right.
So he said alcohol is involved, but it's not a factor in the case. She is let free on a $50,000 cash or surety bond.
Wow.
Out. They let her out. So they're talking about a change of venue. Are they going to do that? Attorneys estimated 60 or 70 possible jurors. They got to see if they know if they've heard about this and all this shit. They're talking about suppressing the interview that she gave to the police. They said officials took advantage of her emotional instability and established a conciliatory atmosphere for the interview. That's called a murder interrogation. That's exactly what they do. They try to take advantage of whatever instability you're feeling
and give you the opportunity to close this case with the least possible police work.
And say, hey, I'm your friend. Tell me and I'll help you. That's what they tell you. That's how they do it. They also want to suppress the gory stuff.
Oh.
They don't want the jury to see that. The brief says the death certificate should not be allowed into evidence because County Coroner Michael K. Chaput, who signed it, is not qualified to verify the cause of death, which is listed as gunshot wound to the chest. I'm going to tell you what.
I think I can solve that one.
I could have 358 worth of alcohol in my system.
Yeah.
And if you showed me a gaping hole in someone's chest, I go, I think that hole's the problem. I think he's supposed to have organs and stuff.
There should be a heart right there.
That's right. Let me draw it on there. Is this pin the heart on the dead guy?
Pour me another.
Whoa. So
I could play Operation with that guy and crush it.
Crush it. He said gory photos of his body and a videotape of the crime scene are not needed. It would only prejudice the jury, the defense says. The state attorney said that he'd served notice that he intends to offer the photos and video as evidence.
Yeah.
And they also want suppression of a church bulletin, which talked about the murder, a taped interview with Glory, and Larry's death certificate. So basically, all that stuff that, what do you call it there? Evidence? None of that. Can we have none of that in? Is
the
that
only
possible?
evidence I would like in are the ones that help me. Everything else, fuck it.
So the defense experts will testify to the realities of battered woman syndrome and the symptoms that she possessed, consistent with the syndrome, which it is a thing.
Sure.
So she sought the trial court's permission to present expert testimony of a psychological autopsy of Larry.
Oh,
a psychological autopsy.
What is that?
It means to post fucking death, posthumously fucking analyze him psychologically.
Okay.
Although he never had interviewed or met him, Dr. Richard Fairbairn was prepared to reconstruct his personality and behavior on the night and testify that it was obviously self-defense.
How do you do that?
That sounds like
psychic.
the dumbest thing ever. Psychological autopsies have been admitted where the victim's state of mind was relevant, such as suicide victims, and where the murder defense was suicide. Though these mental evaluations have been used for other purposes, this doctor even admitted that the reconstruction of his personality, Larry's, was not common in the field of psychiatry. No shit. This is, by the way, the first time in South Dakota history that the battered woman defense is being used.
Is that right?
Absolutely. The first time. She's a trendsetter here. So she's a groundbreaker. So they had another expert witness that talks about the realities of battered spouse syndrome. The witness discussed the truths and misconceptions, as well as the symptoms that she possessed, and all that sort of shit. Under a self-defense argument, the issue is whether she perceived herself to be in imminent danger. But she's going to say that the battered women perceive imminent danger differently than the average person.
Yeah.
So therefore, you have to find self-defense, because to me, even though he was in another room sitting down, drinking, watching TV, that meant I was in imminent danger because I am a part of this syndrome. Okay. Or I have the syndrome. So they say that they want to tell the jury that it might not be imminent danger to you, but it would be to a battered woman, and Gloria is such a woman. So it's interesting. So Gloria is going to testify on her own here.
Is that right?
She has to. She has to.
Really? Yeah.
She has to.
Yeah, if you're going to present
she has to be sympathetic.
Yeah.
Self-defense. Why would you have anything to hide? He came out, I was terrified. So she takes the witness stand, and she says, 32-year nightmare marriage, she called it. She said, quote, "I'm here to tell you my story and to tell everyone what really happened. My children need to know, Larry's family need to know, and I need to tell it so it can be resolved. And also so I don't go to prison," which is also part of this. She claims, obviously, self-defense. She says he tried to drown her. He hit her and slapped her consistently during the marriage. She said she had to say this. He never abused her in front of their 3 sons or anyone else, and Gloria never told anyone about anything. Larry said that it was nobody's business if I beat you. Literally, that's what she said. She said she shot her husband to save her own life. She didn't know when or how Larry would kill her. She said the prosecutor then said, well, Larry was watching TV when you returned from the basement with a loaded gun, but then she said she couldn't remember what happened. And he then says to her, he was unarmed, wasn't he? What threat did he pose as he sat on the couch? And she said he was going to kill me.
He was fueling up.
And and so he said, you're telling this jury that you believe he was going to kill you sometime, somewhere, some way, but you don't know how he was going to kill you. And she said, no. So the prosecutor said that you could have left the house. You could have called for help. They show how in her travels to get to him, she passed 3 different exits to the house. Uh-oh. They said you could have got out 3 different doors or called for help. She said under questioning from her own attorney that wasn't an option for her to do that, though. She also talked about the medication her husband had been taking and about the emotional side effects that this could have on him. Mm-hmm. So, the prosecutor in closing said that Larry's state of mind when he was gunned down on his couch was irrelevant. The mental state of his wife is also immaterial because she's not using mental illness or insanity as a defense. And the battered woman syndrome wasn't like an actual defense at the time.
Oh.
You couldn't say that. It was self-defense is what you had to use. And then you introduce that to say that you would perceive danger differently, and that's why it's self-defense. That's how they worked it there. So she said she's, that's irrelevant. So the verdict comes in. It's August 30th, 1991, and of first-degree murder, she is found not guilty.
What?
Not guilty of first-degree murder. Okay.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's wild. First-degree manslaughter, she is found guilty of that one. So
with
they went lesser.
Window.
To me, it's either first-degree or you acquit. That's how I look at this. Because that's just hedging a bet. That's going, I don't think that he beat her up, but just in case we don't want to bang her for life mandatory. Right. So to me, that's a hedged bet. That's a compromise.
That's just the prosecutor trying his best to get something out of this if he can't get first.
And that's a jury compromising, not only with each other, but also absolutely not only with each other, but also with their own consciousness about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll feel guilty if it's
and the other people in this town, because everybody knows what 12 are on this fucking jury.
That's the other thing. So during sentencing, her sons beg for probation for her.
Really?
They both say, don't take our mom away. She told us all this horrible stuff. All three go up there and do that. Now, her lawyer argues for probation.
Yeah.
Probation. Saying that she would have been killed if she hadn't shot her husband. She reads a statement saying, obviously, you would think, this is terrible. Yeah. I feel, either way, I feel terrible. My sons have lost their father, even blah, blah, blah. She said, no. Her statement is, I have lost faith in the police and the public because my efforts to cooperate with them have been used against me.
Oh, Gloria.
It's almost like they should tell you anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. It's almost like they should say that before. Oh, they did. That's right. They did say that every fucking time they talk to her.
If you don't want to talk to us, you're welcome to talk to a lawyer, blah, 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 blah.
Come on. The prosecution recommends 75 years. That's their recommendation. So anywhere between probation and 3/4 of a century, somewhere in there.
Anywhere between probation and the rest of her fucking life.
And forever. Yeah, she's 52 at this point.
Right.
So, the prosecutor said, quote, I get hate mail over this case. That's fine. This is not a woman's rights case. It's just murder.
Good point.
So at sentencing, the trial judge says this, because a lot of people wrote letters on her behalf, too. He said, I've read every letter that's been written on your behalf. I read the entire pre-sentence report. I've listened to the testimony of your sons twice now. But after reading the evidence on battered woman syndrome, I was convinced that I needed to supplement the law in South Dakota in order for you to have what I felt would be a fair trial. Okay. Now, on the night your husband died, there were options.
Yeah.
Society places a very high value on human life. He said he's gotten a lot of pressure from letters and from a lot of people to place her on probation, but, quote, I don't work that way. I have a conscience, he says.
Boy.
You, ma'am, may fuck off 20 years.
Okay, not bad.
So he makes a hedge bet, too.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of hedging bets. Nobody knows what happened. That's why.
Yeah, I wish he raised his glass.
Yeah, and saluted her. That would have been amazing. He raised his glass and said, 20 years. November 1992, she appeals to the state Supreme Court on the appropriateness of her sentence, among other things. And the judge could have sentenced her from anything from probation to life. And the defense attorney said the 20-year sentence was fairly harsh.
Yeah.
He said this was strictly punishment, which is part of our system, but she served more time than any other woman for this type of crime. This is a year later. And served more time than most men who have similar sentences. Most men who get 20 are out in a year. I'm not aware of that. Okay. Or most anybody. Yeah. Men, women, fucking, I don't care. Dogs, cats, anything.
For this type of crime?
Yeah.
Most people get 20 years for murder and get out in a year?
A year.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to North Dakota. I'm going to murder
South
so many
Dakota,
people.
You could fucking, why not? Who cares? Just wait for the first guy to piss you off. They also talk about the elements of manslaughter, and I'll go through this very quickly. The third element of manslaughter requires the perpetrator to be without design to effect death. Because she admitted telling him, Larry, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
You don't get any more, that's thought about it, and then I did it. That's what that is. That's not a, So they say she ironically alleges there was designed to effect death, thus eliminating the third element and a manslaughter conviction. Her thing is, because I did that, that means it's not manslaughter. It should have been murder, so you have to get rid of my manslaughter charge. That's literally her fucking thing.
It's not good.
To have manslaughter, I couldn't have thought about it ahead of time. Yeah. It's ballsy, I'll say that much.
They should have convicted me, and they didn't, so.
Yeah. Wow. They said that the record discloses that she also testified she did not shoot her husband intentionally. Thus, this combined with her testimony that she did not remember actually carrying the shotgun presented the finder of fact with sufficient evidence that she had no design to effect death and thus will sustain a conviction of first-degree manslaughter and can fuck off. Battered woman syndrome, too. They said the jury heard all the evidence and decided upon the evidence and the instructions given that she was not justified in taking the life of her husband.
Right.
So, yeah, the jury looked at that. The state supplied evidence supporting its burden. He retreated from the hot tub, or she retreated from the hot tub area, then returned to kill her husband. During trial, she said that he was going to kill her, but she didn't know when or where. When the jury is properly instructed of these elements of self-defense and the state meets its burden of proof, we defer to the jury's verdict because that's the point of our legal system. They also go into the self-defense, no duty to retreat thing. This is stand your ground. The state, they say, proved beyond a reasonable doubt that she did not act in self-defense. They say when a defendant raises the affirmative defense of self-defense, it's incumbent upon the state to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the killing was without the authority of law. And they talk about the fact that a person who's been attacked and who's exercising her right of lawful self-defense is not required to retreat, and she not only may stand her ground and defend herself against the attack, but may also pursue her assailant until she's secured herself from danger if that course appears to her and would appear to a reasonable person in the same situation to be reasonably and apparently necessary. And this is her right, even though she might more easily have gained safety by withdrawing from the scene.
You can chase somebody in South Dakota?
And all is stand your ground. That's
the
point of it. That's the law.
My
God.
It's
fucking ridiculous. It's a little silly. Yeah. Someone can come into your yard, like in Texas, someone can come into your yard, then say, oh, sorry, and start walking away, and you can shoot them in the back, and that's fucking legal.
That's not okay.
That's insane. That's insane. That's crazy.
I'll call it what it is. That's chicken shit pussy.
That's what it is. You want to shoot people.
Yes.
And that's ridiculous. That's just as ridiculous as someone can break into your house, be over you with a butcher knife, and you're not allowed to shoot them, which is what people say it was the law, which was never the law.
Never.
Never the law. So anyway, they say that a person who defends herself against all unlawful attack must stop the use of force as soon as the danger of attack has ended. Mm-hmm. If it would appear to be a reasonable person in the same position, there's no further danger, there should be no further force. If he's unarmed, sitting in a chair, watching TV, that doesn't work.
You, for Christ's sake.
That doesn't work. So they said that her husband retreated to a different part of the house to sit down. This is all legal shit. This isn't like our opinion of she should have done that. This is what the court says legally, we're just saying. So they do advocate changing the South Dakota rule on the issue of battered woman syndrome and making that a thing, the battered spouse thing. So they did say you should have that, but they say, quote, a battered spouse does not possess a license to kill the batterer.
Right.
I don't know anyone who claims he or she does. The diagnosis of battered spouse syndrome is a fact for the jury to consider along with other evidence in the case that it's not in the case, but it's not the ultimate issue. Right. There you go. That's denied. So there you go. 1993, she wants a reduction of her sentence.
No.
Goes to court. 33 people attended the hearing for her, all wearing purple ribbons for her.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. She said, I need to come home for a while. My family needs me, is what she said in court. They say, no, that's not.
No, man.
It's been 2 years. Get the hell out of here. January 28th, 1994, she is going for another sentence commutation, and she's not given it. She said if she's denied parole, she will continue working with other inmates in self-help groups that she started at the prison, and all that. They said she's suffering. She's paid for the crime. That's never going to end. Said it's a coalition against domestic violence. That's denied, by the way, for her early shit. April 26, 94, up for parole. Not going to get it. Board votes 5-1 to deny her parole. Oh. She's up every 8 months from here on out.
Is that right?
August 94, later on, December 94, up for parole, denied, 5-1.
Okay.
95, work release. It was at the women's prison in Pierre, and she's been on work release. She was cooking at the governor's mansion.
What?
That's what she was doing for work release. Yeah, so her lawyer says, I think that clearly showed that she's not a risk for society, and her family definitely needs her home. So April 1995, they deny her again on a 4-2 vote.
Oh, it's getting close.
Yes, but she is January 27th, 1998, her 6th try, they vote to give her parole.
Oh, my.
So their reactions here, she said, I don't think I'm hardened. The day the judge sentenced me to 20 years, I said it's not going to make me an old, bitter woman, and it hasn't. I have a lot of joy in my life. That's what she says.
Seen Raj?
Anybody seen Raj? She said, the Black Hills is where I want to live, but if I have somewhere to go somewhere else to find a job, I think my parole requirements will allow it. Meanwhile, the kids, Leonard and Mile, they're happy. Everyone's going to be happy, Leonard said.
Wow.
They can't wait for her to get home here. Larry's family, not so happy.
No.
His sister said she was pissed about the whole thing. She said it was a very political case. And all that. And then the daughter-in-law, daughter-in-law wrote a letter to the newspaper editor saying, this is all a load of shit.
Yep.
She said, battered woman does exist, but not here. But I have not seen a case as of yet, she says, I'll quote from her, that the woman has not had any medical evidence or testimony from friends or family stating they had seen marks, bruises, broken bones, suspicious scars on anywhere. I feel Gloria should not be eligible for parole, as she's only served a few years of her crime. Larry cannot come back from the grave to ask for it. So, upon release, she starts speaking at women's...
Fuck you.
At, like, anti-domestic violence stuff.
Wow.
And, yeah, plays the whole that's her role now. That's what she does.
That's her thing.
The grave, by the way,
yeah.
Her fucking name is still on that grave. It is Larry Dean on the same headstone, Gloria Jean, but with no end date.
Like they're going to bury her next to him?
Like they're going to bury her next there.
Oh, my God.
In the Little Dane Cemetery in Lawrence County there.
Holy.
There's also a book about this called Have At It, Sister.
What?
It's only available. It's actually, if you have Audible, it is included in the Audible membership. It's one of the included books.
Are they trying to say that's his last words or something?
No. This is, she's involved in this. She's one of the narrators in this book, even.
I don't want to hear that.
Gloria. So it's crazy. So there you go. That is Whitewood, South Dakota. That's a hell of a crazy story. If you like that story, tell the world, tell whatever app you're on. Give us 5 stars. Helps a lot there. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get tickets to all your events. Merch, everything like that. You want to go to Patreon, patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody $5 or above. Whole back catalog, hundreds of episodes, new episodes every other week. This week, Disco Demolition Night and Sherry Papini kidnapping for why? Who the fuck knows? So there's that. Definitely do that. You get a shout out at the end of the show too. Who doesn't want a shout out? Follow us on social media. We're at Murder Small, so at Small Town Murder, at fucking Small Town Pod. Follow us on social media. It's right there at shutupandgivememurder.com. There's a drop-down menu. Click, bitches. Let's do this. Thank you so much for listening. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus